It all started on an ordinary morning that would soon turn extraordinary. In a small town, where life moved slowly and people mostly minded their own business, an 8-year-old boy named Adam stood at the edge of a busy street with a crumpled dollar bill in his tiny hand. His shoes were worn out, his shirt had holes, and his family barely had enough to make ends meet. Yet that day, what he chose to do with that single dollar would shake the hearts of millions. Adam's mother, Sarah, worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. His father had passed away when Adam was only 3 years old, leaving behind memories more than a presence. They lived in a small apartment with thin walls, often skipping luxuries like new clothes, toys, or even a decent meal. But Adam was not a boy who complained. Despite the hardships, he carried a light in his heart, something pure and unshaken by the struggles around him. One chilly afternoon, as Adam walked home from school, he noticed a man sitting by the corner store. The man looked tired, his beard messy, his clothes torn, and his eyes hollow from hunger. Adam had seen him before, always sitting quietly, almost invisible to the world. People passed him by without a glance, some even muttering cruel words under their breath. That day, Adam stopped. He tightened his grip on the crumpled dollar, the only money he had saved for a candy bar he'd been dreaming of all week. His stomach growled, reminding him that he hadn't eaten since breakfast. But then he looked into the man's eyes. They weren't just tired, they were pleading, even if no words were spoken. Slowly, Adam walked up to him. The man looked startled. No one ever came close. "Mister," Adam said softly, his voice trembling. "Are you hungry?" The man nodded, too ashamed to speak. Adam didn't think twice. He marched into the store, used his precious dollar to buy a loaf of bread, and returned to hand it to the man. The man's hands shook as he accepted it. Tears welled up in his eyes as he whispered, "Thank you, son. You don't know what this means." Adam smiled. "It's okay. My mom says sharing is the best gift." Unbeknownst to Adam, a woman across the street had witnessed the entire exchange. She had her phone out and recorded the moment, touched by the boy's selflessness. She uploaded it online with the caption, "This little boy just gave up his only dollar to feed a homeless man. The world needs more Adams." Within hours, the video spread like wildfire. People were stunned by the innocence and kindness of a child who had so little, yet gave so much. News channels picked it up, social media exploded with admiration, and Adam's name became known far beyond his small town. But fame was not the gift Adam cared about. The next day, people began showing up at his doorstep. Some brought groceries, some offered money, and others came with toys and clothes. At first, Sarah was overwhelmed. She had always taught Adam to be kind, but she never imagined his small act would ripple across the globe. Still, not everything was easy. With the sudden attention came challenges. Reporters crowded outside their home. Some doubted Adam's story, calling it staged. Others criticized the woman who recorded it for using a child's moment. Sarah tried to shield her son, but Adam, wise beyond his years, told her, "Mom, it doesn't matter what people say. What matters is he wasn't hungry anymore." The town soon rallied behind Adam. Inspired by him, local schools began food drives. Neighbors who rarely spoke to each other started working together to support the homeless. A small act of kindness had lit a fire in their hearts. Months later, Adam was invited to speak at a charity event. Standing on a big stage, wearing a shirt that was finally new, he looked out at the sea of faces and simply said, "I just didn't want him to be hungry." If we all do one small thing for someone else, the world won't feel so sad anymore. The audience erupted in applause, many wiping away tears. Adam's words weren't polished or rehearsed, but they were true. His story spread further, reaching millions who vowed to show kindness in their own communities. Years passed, but people never forgot the little boy who gave away his only dollar. That single act became a movement, a reminder that kindness doesn't need wealth, status, or power. It just needs a willing heart. And so, Adam's story teaches us all this: the world doesn't change through grand speeches or mighty leaders alone. Sometimes, it changes when a hungry man receives a loaf of bread from the hands of a little boy who had nothing to give, except kindness. Sparkles by the end, the message is clear: even the smallest act of kindness can echo louder than we imagine, inspiring millions. One child, one choice, $1, was enough to shock the world.